And again, sit comfortably. I think everybody done it before except Sophie. Okay, Sophie, so we use what we practiced before in the beginning, very quick way to connect to ourselves. And then we add something. What we add is we have the intention that the two hands are connected by by intent, by emptiness.
Okay.
Incomprehensible, but and then one hand is on the navel center, and with the other hand, we scan the body, we go over the body. So the intent is that there's always a connection between the two hands. You don't have to deal with it mentally, just intend it. And while we scan it, we may have different sensations, not only being attentive, but also we can feel sometimes energy in the hands or in the body or wherever. This is the exercise, okay? We can do it very quick. And what did they say? Just a second. I don't know why they can't make it. Well, I don't know. I cannot go in. Sorry. So the connection between the hands helps us to also be attentive and also to experience the energy. Okay? Okay, so find your posture. It will be very comfortable. Okay. And being comfortable, we use the 3 steps, 3 clicks. First one, we connect to our body. Be aware of your body. Second click, connect to the earth. Outside and inside of us. And the third, we connect to the other participants. And now, left hand on the navel center. And right hand on top of the head, just above the crown. See if you can feel, don't touch the head, don't touch the body. Just see if you can feel the crown center, the energy. You may find it or may not. And then our intent is that the two hands are connected. And we begin to scan the body going down the axis, all the way down. All the way down to the floor. And when we get to the floor, we pause for a few seconds to have impression of our body. We do it quite quickly. So this time we do it even quicker. And once we are down, we begin to go back up. It's quite quickly. Just go back up. Just have impression. Doesn't matter what the impression is, but as we go back up, we have different impression. Until we make it to the top of the head again, and then we search the crown center again. If you feel it, you can maybe pull it up a bit. You can play with it because the emptiness of your hand can pull up the energy. And it can pull up the spine to make it more straight. And then we continue to scan to the back of the head. And then we go around the head from right to left, from right to left, side, face, left side. Continue to make a whole circle and we go to the back of the neck. And we scan the neck from right to left. And then neck right to left. Until we make it to the, till we reach the left shoulder. It's quite quick. We can do it in an hour, we can do it in a minute. Because we are a group, we're doing it together as possible. And then we scan the left shoulder. So we go above the shoulder. You don't have to be exactly above the shoulder, just using your intent. And we go toward the shoulder joint and we go down the arm all the way to the tip of the fingers. Just allow your attention to move down the arm to the tip of the fingers. Once we get to the tip of the fingers, we pause again for several seconds to have impression of our whole body. And then we continue, we go back up. And if you are attentive to the other people in a way, you'll find there's a common rhythm. It's a bit quick this time. And then we go up all the way to the shoulder joint and left shoulder. And from the left shoulder, we go down on the left side of the body. We go downwards, scanning the left side of the body, down to the waistline. So when we get to the waistline, we move to the right shoulder. So we scan the right shoulder. Again, you don't have to be exactly above it. It's not so comfortable, but your intent is very flexible. So we scan the right shoulder and then we go down from the shoulder on the right side of the body all the way down to the waistline. And again, when we get to the waistline, we make sure we scan everything and change hands. Now the right hand is on the navel center, and the left hand we begin to scan the same way above the crown. We begin with the left hand above the crown. Again, search for the navel, for the crown center, see if you can feel it in a way. And remember the two hands are connected by their emptiness. And then we go down the axis. You see, we've already done it with the other hand, but it's different now. And maybe the sensations or the impressions are different. So we go down all the way to the area between the feet and the floor. And when we get to the area between the feet and the floor, we pause again for several seconds to have impression of our whole body. And then we go back up. You see, even though there is no physical thing below our, between our legs, then still there's energy there, so we scan it. And we go back. Sometimes you feel this, the throat center or the third eye center or other centers stronger or weaker. And then we reach the top of the head again. Check your crown center, see if you can feel it, pull it up. And then we continue to the back of the head, back of the head. And then we scan the head from left to right, the left side of the head. And then the face. And then the right side of the head. And until we reach the back of the head again, and then we go down to the back of the neck. We don't stop. And we scan the neck from left to right. Until we get closer to the right shoulder. So we scan the right shoulder now toward the shoulder joint. And from there we go down the arm to the elbow, forearm, wrist, hand, fingers, tip of the fingers. And once we reach the tip of the fingers, we pause again for several seconds and feel the whole body. And we go back, going up the arm, all the way up to the right shoulder. And scan the shoulder again, and then we go down the right side of the body from the shoulder to the waistline. And once we get there, we move to the left shoulder again. And we scan the left shoulder again, go over the shoulder. And going down the left side of the body, down to the waistline. And then we change hands again. So now the left hand is on the navel center. And with the right hand, we begin to scan from the left hip joint going right. So we scan the pelvis. Remember, there's a lot of stuck energy in the pelvis. So allow it to move and free itself and to begin to circulate. And we move to the right hip joint. And when we finish scanning the right hip joint, we go down the right leg all the way to the tip of the toes. You don't have to bend forward, just with your intent to go over the whole leg. Until you reach the tip of the toes. And when you reach the tip of the toes, you will pause again. And try to have impression of our whole body. Then we go back up again, going up the leg, foot, ankle, the calf, the knee, the thigh, till we reach the right hip joint. And then we move to the navel center. And when we get to the navel center, we change hands again. Now the right hand, navel, and left hand begins on the right hip joint, moving left. So really we scanned it before with the right hand, but now we're scanning it with the left hand. It's different. Begin moving to the left, scanning the pelvis, moving all the way to the left hip joint. And then we go down the leg, knee, calf, ankle, foot, toes, tip of the toes. Once we reach the tip of the toes, we pause again for several seconds to get impression of our whole body. I repeat it every time because the contrast between when the attention is more concentrated and when it is more dispersed is very interesting. And we practice playing with it. Now we go back up, going back up the leg. All the way to the left hip joint. Then we move to the center, to the navel center, until both hands are on the navel. And you can put the hands on the knees if it's more comfortable for you. And have impression of yourself, of the totality of yourself. If your eyes are closed, allow them to open without letting go of the impression of yourself. It just will change the impression a bit. I always encourage myself, and maybe you too, in this time when we are a little bit more present, we can make a rendezvous for tomorrow to meet ourselves in the same state. Maybe you can connect it to a certain happening like before breakfast, after the shower or whatever, or to a certain time, 10 o'clock. We intend to meet ourselves there. And sometimes we remember, sometimes we forget. And sometimes when we forget, we suddenly remember that we forgot. And it's a very precious moment. So now when we are a bit more present, there are these 4 questions I say every time. And questions are for us to check ourselves. First one is my mind more silent? The second, is my sphere of emotions more calm? The third is my body more relaxed? And the fourth is, do I feel some affection? Chiba. Is my heart a bit more open? Usually it's easier with the ones we love, but can we have affection for people criticize or we do not like? What determines if I have affection or not.